Hello everyone. In this video we'll see how to create series from various different objects, and then later on we'll also see some important properties that we can use or apply on a series. Okay, so let's start. So let me quickly create a series for you, and here import pandas, and then a series S is defined as pandas.series, and here now you know that inside these brackets we need to specify data from which we are going to create a series. Okay, so the first thing that we have already seen that we can specify or use a list here, and the series will be created from those list items. So you can also have a list declared separately as this. Okay, and then you can simply specify this object L, and then you can have your series printed. It's the same thing that we have seen in the previous lectures. So and of course, if you want to specify labeled indices, you can use index is equals to argument, and inside this square bracket you can use or write the required labeled indices. But what are the other objects other than list that we can use to create a series? So one important object is of course dictionary. Okay, so let me create a dictionary first. So curly brackets, you know that, and let me have dictionary keys as A, and I'm going to have a value 100 assigned to this key, and then second key is B, and then 200, and then C, and then 300. Okay, so this is the dictionary. Now the question is, can I create a series from this dictionary? Okay, the answer is yes. So the property that is applied here is that when you create a series from a dictionary, the keys of that dictionary will become the indices in the series. So this is what you need to understand. So let me simply specify this dictionary here, and let's print it. So I'm going to run the code now, and just look at the output. So we have 100, 200, 300 as the values or series items, you can say, but look at the indices. They are ABC. So from where are they taken? Okay, so they are taken from the dictionary keys, so A, B, and C. So this is what you can see here. So this is how you can use a dictionary also in order to create a series. You can also create a series from a one-dimensional array, not from a two-dimensional array. Okay, so as you know, the series is one-dimensional structure, so it can only be created, or it cannot be created from any two-dimensional structure like a 2D array. So in order to create a 1D array, we need to import another module called as numpy, and you can always give a module a name, like I am giving here np. Okay, it's just that convenient for me, that's why I'm doing it, although it's not compulsory. So let me create a 1D array first. So a is equals to np dot array. So array is the method with which we create arrays. Okay, and there are so many other methods. We'll have a separate video on it in future for sure. Okay, but for now just understand that we are creating a 1D array here. So 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. Now for your reference, you should know that the array is an object which contains same type of values. Okay, and this is what you can see here. It unlike list and series which can store any type of value. Okay, so this is the difference between an array, 1D array that is, and a list and a series. Okay, all right, so we have an array created here, and we can now simply specify this A here, and then we can run the code, and it works fine. And of course the indices are this time taken as the default ones. As you can see, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 because the array has these indices only. Okay, so just like list, array is also limited to positional indices only. You can change index values only in series. Okay, as far as 1D structures in Python is concerned. Okay, now there are some important properties or attributes, you can call them, and you can use them for getting different type of information about the series you have created. So for example, let me first write the properties that I'm going to mention here. Okay, so the first property is name, then we'll see index property, and then we have values property, and then we have size property, and then we have empty property. Okay, these are all properties. There can be more, but these are the ones that are mostly used on a series. So one thing you should understand, that these are not methods or functions. So whenever you use any of them, do not use these brackets. Okay, otherwise it will show error. So properties are directly used with their name without brackets, and they must be written in small letters only. Okay, so this is what you should remember. So let's see what do they do one by one. So first of all, let's see what name property does. Okay, so when you look at the series, any series, okay, what do we mean by the name? Now do not connect this property name as the name with the name of the series. Okay, this is not that. The variable name of the series is s, and it will remain s for the entire execution time of this program. But name is something else. So by default, when you create a series, it doesn't have any name. So name is just like a label or tag that you can apply on a series. Okay, so how do we do it? So you can simply write, or let me first do one thing. Let's write print s dot name. So I'm going to know if the series has any name applied on it or not. Okay, so I have executed the program, and as you can see, it says none, which means that the series currently is having no name applied on it. So let's apply this, and then we'll run it again. So to apply a name, you can simply write s.name is equals to an as a string value only. Okay, that you remember. So you can write any name here, like my data or something like that. Okay, now when you print the series again, let us print a blank line here so that we can differentiate two series on the output screen. Yes. Okay, now look at these two series objects. This is before applying the name, and this is after applying the name. So you can see that the tag my data or the name my data is now applied on this series. Now what is the use of this thing, okay, of having this this name applied on a series? So in future we'll see how to create data frames. Okay, so when you create a data frame from a series by using a series, okay, you will see that the name which is applied on the series by the programmer is automatically taken as a column heading. Okay, so this is what we can say the use of this name property applied on a series. So right now we know nothing about the data frame. So when we see data frames, at that time we'll come back to the name property of the series, and then you will see the usage. Okay, all right, the next property I'm going to explain here is index property. Now for me, the index property is the most important property you can have, or you can use in series. Okay, so what does it do? So it simply gives you access to the indices of the series. So let me do one thing. Let me have labeled indices as alphabets, so this will make it clearer. So A, B, C, and then D. Okay, Now let's simply try and write print s dot index, no brackets, okay, that you remember. Okay, this is a property, not a function. All right, so when you run this code, you can see that the output says that we have index values applied on the series as A, B, C, and D. Now this is simply a list, guys. Okay, do not get confused by the look of this. Okay, as it has index word written here and then D type object written here, so don't bother about them for now. Okay, it is just a list. Okay, so let's do one more thing. If you write s dot index square bracket 1, okay, what should we get out of this? Let's see. So we are getting B printed on the screen, as you can see. Let me adjust the size. Okay, so what is B then? So as you know that this index property is giving us a list of indices of the series. So when you have that list, you are going to access, or you are accessing element at index 1 from that list, which is of course B here. So you can also use this technique to access individual index values from the index property. Now the most important use of index property is that you can use this property to change all the indices of the series. Okay, this is very important. So to change all the indices, like right now I have A, B, C, D as the index values, so you can simply write s dot index, again no brackets, remember, and you can use a square bracket here, and you can specify the different indices that you want to apply on the series. Okay, so you can use it like P, Q, R, and S. Okay, so now when you see the series again, see that we are able to change the indices of the series. They were A, B, C, D earlier, now they are P, Q, R, S. Okay, now one thing here that you need to know, that you have to specify all the indices here, or I should say indices for all the elements here. Okay, you cannot do it like you specify 2 indices for first 2 items and then for the rest you can keep the old index. So this is not possible with this property. Well, there is another method for doing that type of thing that we'll see later on. Okay, but yes, so this is also you can do with index property. Now another important usage of this property is that you can use this property in order to control a loop. Okay, and that is very useful, guys, because you know that when we are talking about a series, it can have default indices as well as labeled indices of string type, of course. Okay, so if you want to deal with individual elements one by one in a loop, then sometimes what do you use most of the times? You can use range function in order to access the positional indices, and then by using that positional index you can access or check a particular value inside a condition maybe. Okay, so this is what you have been doing with lists and arrays. Okay, I hope you know loops. If not, then please go and check out those videos that I have made on loops, so that will clear your concepts. But index property gives you access to the indices that are given in the series, I should say. Now I'm not using the words positional or labeled. I'm simply using the word given. Now given means whatever you can see in the series. Okay, if there are positional indices, they are the given indices. If there are labeled indices given, they are the given indices. Okay, so index property, as you know, gives the index that are given in the series. So I can use that in a loop easily. So for that you can write for, I'm going to apply for loop here. So for I in s dot index, no brackets again, and then colon. So what am I getting in this variable I one by one here? Okay, so I'm getting these index values, not the positional indices. Okay, so I'm getting A, then B, then C, and D, these four values one by one in this variable I. So now you can simply use them. So for example, I just want to print them one by one, so you can write SI. So it will be SA, then SB, SC, and then SD, which means Tom, Ben, Nick, and Roy will be printed one by one. So let's run and see if it works or not. It works, as you can see. Okay, but one thing you should remember is that whatever indices are given in the series, this property will give you only those indices. Okay, so if I do not have these indices, for example, now what? Okay, so now you know that the series has positional indices only, that is 0, 1, 2, and 3. So now when you run the code, it will work fine, no problem, same output as you can see. But what is coming in I one by one this time? So it is no longer A, B, C, D or P, Q, R, S or whatever we had written here, but this time it is giving us 0, 1, 2, and then 3. These are the four values that we'll be getting in variable I. So I hope the usage of index property in a loop is clear to you. So I hope whatever I have explained in this video is clear to you, and then there are some more properties that I'll be explaining in the next lecture, so do check that out. So that's it guys for this video. Okay, see you all in the next video. Thank you.